Fear is powerful. Improperly applied, fear can cause us to make irrational choices without thinking. The difference is what we fear. As Proverbs 9:10 states, "Fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom." I'm Michael Quinn Sullivan with a reflection on life and liberty. A healthy fear is critical to success in all facets of life. Of course, it's very easy to fear the wrong things, and that can lead to some very poor outcomes. We need look no further than politics. I've come to believe that many of the most foolish decisions in American government arise from the simple fact that too many politicians have too little fear of the voters and taxpayers. Consider specifically the Texas legislature. The politicians here have for too long very clearly feared the lobbyists, the bureaucrats, and even their colleagues more than they fear their voters and taxpayers at home. If this weren't so, for example, they would have rushed to end the corporate welfare programs opposed by both parties and overwhelming majorities of citizens. Instead, Republican and Democrat lawmakers consistently trip over each other in finding new ways to siphon cash from the taxpayers' wallets and into the pockets of their corporate cronies. Similarly, Republicans would have banned the lobby-endorsed practice of appointing Democrats to chair key legislative committees rather than lie to their constituents about the process. And yet, these politicians, these lobbyists, these corporate cronies, they're all just taking advantage of the sycophantic culture we as voters have allowed to fester. If politicians feared the voters more than the lobbyists and their corrupt colleagues, Texas would be different. I dare say Texas would be better. Corporate welfare wouldn't exist. School choice would have been established. Property taxes would be significantly lower, if not abolished outright. Taxpayer-funded lobbying would have been banned, and the Democrats would no longer control vast swaths of legislative power in the GOP-dominated House. All that would have happened already if the politicians feared the citizens more than they fear each other and their lobbyist pals. Why don't they? Well, that's our fault. As citizens, we've failed to inspire sufficient fear in our elected servants. We fawn over our party's politicians like royalty. We've allowed them to think they, rather than the citizens, are masters of the republic. Too many citizens failed to even participate in elections, and even fewer bothered to take the steps necessary to hold politicians truly accountable for their actions and inactions. The downward spiral of cause and effect blur, with the result being lawmakers who don't sufficiently fear the citizenry. It's up to us, as citizens, to inspire in our elected servants greater fear than the lobby and the bureaucracy. Rather than accept table scraps, we as citizens must demand that politicians seek the voters' approval and the voters' approval alone. The future of our republic depends on it. The Reflections podcast is presented by Texas Scorecard. This edition was produced by Nick Shepard in the 1836 studios. If you like today's reflection, be sure to subscribe, rate it, leave a review, and recommend it to your friends. I'm Michael Quinn Sullivan. Thanks for listening.